Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Gertrude or Trudy. I have wanted to do this for a long time. Jump on life and not having anyone present. I don't know why, but I really like to do that. I think because it reminds me of when I first started YouTube. I would do a test live like this without anybody jumping on. But after a while, once I get into more life, that never happened. Anyway, so part of the reason or what urges me to do this today is because of my channel. So what happened was 9 months ago, I started a new kind of a new old channel. Yeah, you could call it a new channel, starting afresh. And so I have it. I I kind of play with the title. One of the nice thing about being small and not having anyone not really knowing me is I could really play around with the title. And finally, I just went back to my old title, Path to Oneness. And so that it was quite as exciting, interesting when I first started because I have very few subscribers, but viewers. When I released the video, I would get quite a number of views, and that is more rewarding to me than having a lot of subscribers and few viewers. Oh, I can see too. Always here, Rachel. Yeah, thank you for being here. So, and then all of a sudden, the views stopped, single digit. So I started watching YouTube videos on how to improve it. And then I found that the whole scenario changed again. Subscribers doesn't matter as much. What matter is trust score. And so there are several things to trust score. One of the big no is creating a new Gmail, a new Google account just to start a new channel. And that was what I did. So I decided, okay, I tried to switch it to an old account, and I learned how to do it. You have to create it into a brand account and all that. I managed to do that, but StreamYard would not to link to my new account, and I just couldn't get it to link with my other email. And so I thought, oh, it's so much trouble. I'll just ignore it. So I deleted the new brand, whatever you call it, account. And I hesitated twice, but I just clicked delete it, and then my worst fears came true. I didn't have my channel disappear. So I went I went very quiet inside. That is how I deal with things like that. So I took the dog for a walk, and then all of a sudden I started laughing. That is part of being further on the path of spirituality, because you don't take things as seriously as before. I mean, when you think of the fact that you are, having a human spirit, having a human experience, you don't get as caught up with the human experience. So I say, oh, no problem. I'll just start a new one. So I started a new one. And I discovered the difference. It is a lot harder today than 9 months ago when I get started. It's very, very difficult and very slow. And then, yes, but what really hurt me was I thought I saved all the files, but I couldn't find them. Only a portion of them, all my videos. And what I hurt most was losing the videos I made about my life as a nun. And then yesterday morning, I suddenly saw, how YouTube push videos, but for me, it's my spirit team. Every time I need to know something, I ask them to push it. So I suddenly saw an old video of mine. I click it, and I was really surprised to find my old channel was still there. It didn't have banner or picture. It's like a strip channel. So I thought, oh, that's okay. It probably will be there for a while and then disappear. And this morning, I check on to see what are the videos I could upload from there. And so I have two YouTube. One was this channel, and the other one I click on another channel. And so what I saw was the two identical channel, path to oneness with the same picture, you know. So I really freeze and freak out. So I quickly change. I add a new to this channel so people would know it, and then I changed the photo. But so I thought to myself, gee, I better explain it because the other channel, Path to Oneness, without the new, I can't access it. I'm still working on it. I hope I will be able to access it. Anyway, so this is what I mean by, the spirit of mirth. It is, I call it laughing gas because, out of nowhere, things that are not funny, will suddenly feel very funny. So this is not funny, it's a mess, but so I thought I would just come on and explain about that. And so, and I believe this is what I have to do because the last time when I did this 9 months ago, I was able to do it incognito practically. I just paused. I never really show my, I didn't even have a picture that really showed me. It was almost like incognito. But now with the changes of YouTube, is very different. So several videos, they say what YouTube CEO says is be yourself or be your true self or something to that nature. Well, I have no problem with that because I tend to be too transparent and too open. A friend of mine would always tell me, you do not have to tell out all these things. You do not, and when I was a nun, the nuns used to tell me, there are things that you keep between you and God. I never understand what those things are. So like, they talk about knowing that we are wanderers. So there are people who knew or who sees ET, angels, spirits from young age. I never had any of that. But what I had is just this very transparency, And so I earn, even now, I still get that. I earn the title of being naive and gullible because I never really know how to play that game, I mean, it's so much easier to walk the straight path than to walk, the crooked path where you have to think how your action or what you say could be interpreted by the other person. It is just too much work. And for me, I just go straight. I have lived this way most of my life. Now I am 70. So I guess, yeah. So, yeah. So at age 70, I'm not going to change very much of my personality. Although I have become a little bit more circumspect, it's part of growing older, I guess. Yeah. So Rachel, how are you doing? Yeah, it's good of you to come on. So what I so that is so that's why I come on. And now I have this issue because the thing is I delete the brand, but I didn't delete the channel, and the other channel might stay on. And if I was going to repost, and then it will be, like this morning I saw two identical channel and duplicates, because if I were to repost the videos, it will be duplicate. So what I am thinking is I might just repost on my new channel my life from childhood, the 9 years, and life outside. They are close to, I think, 60 shots. I might do that, or I might just wait a few days and see if I'm able to access my older channel. So as for introduction, so when I was 17, no, when I was, okay, I'll just go very fast with it. When I was 12 or 11, I had to sit for primary six common entrance examination. That was in Malaysia. Depending on whether I pass it or not, is whether I will move on to government aided school or government school. If I fail that, then I have to go to private school. At the time, most people, when they flunk that test, they simply drop out of school. And even at that young age, dropping out of school was like a terrible fate for me. So I started to pray to God, help me pass my exam and I will become a nun. And then I passed, much to the surprise of my family. I'm going to slow down. I tend to go and speak very fast. And with my Malaysian accent, it's difficult to understand it sometimes. So fast forward to when I was 13 or 14, Form 2, the nuns passed some pamphlets of vocation. So I look at it and I thought, oh my God, I promised God I'll become a nun. And now how can I break a promise to God? And so I decided, I want to become a nun again. And that was one of the beautiful period of my life, because I read St. Francis of Assisi and it was so beautiful. For weeks, I was on this high, like a kind of inebriation, where I felt that I could speak to nature. And I didn't try speaking to animals. The ones that we had were pigs and dogs, and they were mostly wild. But the high never lasted. I tried to keep it, and of course, it never lasts. And then I got interested in boys, Harlequin romance, although for us it's Mills and Boone's romance. And then when I was in Form 4, that will be around 15 or 16. I always say 15 or 16 because my birthday is at the end of the year. And our classes go according to the year of birth. So I decided again that I wanted to become a nun. And this time I took it very seriously. So I entered a month after I left school at age 17. And I always believed that it was meant to be, that I had to be pulled from the world, taken out of the world into the monastery to learn how to meditate. I believe if I had not entered the monastery, I would never have learned how to meditate. And what was conducive also was the fact that my personality was such that it wasn't very readily acceptable to this strict and close group of nuns. So I started to feel unloved, not accepted, and that pushes me further to go inside. I think all through my life, that survival instinct is very strong. So I either survive it or I go crazy or I have to leave. And that pushes me to go into meditation. So 4 years after I entered, around the age of 21, I just had this thing. I could, like now, I could feel this energy wanting to pull me inside. And I have been going through some dryness in prayer. You know, we have the prayer of simplicity, which is prayer of quiet, and all that category. So I told God, I said, I'm sorry, God, I do not know how to get inside myself. So I was resisting that, and then all of a sudden it just yanked me inside, literally pulled me inside. And I was inside myself for 4 days, occupied by this force or energy. And I knew it to be God because I just knew it to be God because it, just like this force is occupying me right now, it is just a life force. And, it just held me, like engages me where I felt divorced from the world. So I move around like a zombie. The 4 days I didn't want to talk because I didn't want to lose this wonderful thing within me. And after 4 days, I gradually came out of it, but not completely. The onslaught was so strong that I actually could not do things. My mind became so occupied with this presence that it was very hard for me to concentrate on anything. It took months for that effect to wear away. So when I first get into this new age group or new age thing, the channeling and all that, I was told that what it was awakening to the oneness in me and around me. Of course, that went way right off my head. I didn't understand any of that. All this thing, oneness, and all that was foreign to me. After I left the monastery, I went into Taoism, Buddhism. I avoided Hinduism because of the many gods. I couldn't deal with the many gods. And so it was just chiefly those background. And so that was, but 20, so the other part of my life, 2020, I started looking for psychic on YouTube because I didn't have any of those when I was young or growing up. But I went into contemplative prayer. After that experience, it's like the door to mysticism just was flung open, and I could understand books about or mysticism and all that, where before they were just too deep for me. And with that also, I started to cultivate psychic gifts. It is more like inner sensing, like yes or no, and words, the locution. That's what St. John of the Cross called the inner voice locution. And so I got on YouTube, and that was when I started to get into all this psychic medium channeling. And then I think 4 years ago, when it was suggested, when anyway, how do I put it? Anyway, it was suggested to me that I channel. So I just like this, without any ado, I just jump onto the YouTube without even really knowing how to navigate. I just jump on YouTube and learn as I go along. So the past 10 months, what I have been doing is training to trans channel. So there is a difference between channeling. Most channelers, they prefer what is called conscious channeling. And with conscious channeling, the difference is with conscious channeling, the entity, the beings do not enter into the person. And with trance channeling, what I do is I invite them to come into me. I told my family not to watch any of my videos. If they watch me right now, it will really spook them, because their idea about channeling, of course, in Malaysia, we will go and not we being Catholics, we don't do that, but it is very much in the culture that they will go to this medium, and the medium will call in the spirit, and they start shaking. And when the spirit comes in, and then they will really talk. And I think that is why it spooks them to know I channel. Yeah. So that was how I got into channeling. And for a while, I kept telling myself, I'm not a tarot card reader. So I do use my tarot cards, but I use it like a tool for yes and no question. I don't really, I don't do the kind of readings where I just do use it personally, like when I want to know a yes or no question or outcome. Yes, that's why I do mostly outcome. And it has been very accurate. Like when members of my family is sick or something, so I would just use this for outcome. And then I say to myself, I'm not psychic in the sense of being able to see spirits, angels, or the visions that I have are usually more in the form. Well, the first vision I had was I was at the monastery, and I was, with St. John of the Cross says, with locution and vision, with this kind of supernatural gifts, one of the mark about if it's genuine or not is you remember exactly what you were doing when it happened. And then also that it happened like yesterday. So my first locution, this retreat master told me, God is giving you the prayer of quiet. And instead of being happy, I started to worry about being proud. What if I become proud and then, the Catholic guilt and fear of pride? So I went to the tabernacle and I asked God, are you giving me the prayer of quiet? And I heard very clearly, not yet, but I will. And true enough, it happened a few months later. So my first vision, I was climbing onto my bed and putting out the mosquito net. You have to have mosquito net in Malaysia or you get eaten alive by mosquitoes at night. And as I was putting it up, I saw my heart. It was white with a little patch of black. And I was led to understand that the black was my jealousy. And I could see the black wasn't embedded, it could easily be removed. And true enough, shortly after that, I never did have to suffer from jealousy again. I Most of my life I'm never really prone to jealousy, mainly because of this straightforward nature that I have. I have never been very competitive and pretty happy with what I have. Another person can be lovely, but I look okay and I'm okay with that. However, at the monastery, it was different. When a new postulant entered, I really had to struggle with jealousy, and that was really difficult. And after that vision, I never had to suffer from that again. So it's this kind of vision that I have, more more like images. And if I so recently, you know, I asked this collective that I am channeling to show themselves as the way I am taught. And then, you know, I saw this bird like a big bird like face with a big eye and big blue avian. You know, a psychic medium told me that the blue avians were with me since I was small. I asked for a proof, and she told me about the big tree. And I thought there were no big trees outside my house. And months later, I remember there is a big tree that I used to play with my sisters. It's a really big tree, and then what it has is a lot of these tiny, tiny red seeds, and they were really pretty. So you could gather them and put them into a vase, to put flowers in. Yeah, so the uh, so coming back to it. So I say I'm not a tarot card reader. I'm not a psychic reader. So I am a present day mystic. So when I created my new channel, I concentrate on that mysticism. And bit by bit, you can't escape reality. Bit by bit, it just come back. I am a channeler. And so going forth, my channel, I believe the channeling will take over more than anything else. With my background of mysticism and then channeling. Let me grab this little character. This is my little friend. She loves she loves being here on live. Look at her showing off, posturing. So this is Mari. She's my companion. I say meditation, and she will come and meditate with me. Yeah, she is something special. She will come and meditate with me. And when I say meditation, the other one, Ginger, runs away. Ginger finds it boring, and she is not spiritual, but Marie is spiritual. And poor Marie, she also sees the spirits around me. She will look intently at something, and sometimes she just doesn't like what she look at, and she will run away, or she'll just look at something seriously. And I ended up having to. I don't usually do a lot of the cleansing. I do a lot more of it now. I just tell them, any beings not of the highest love and good, please leave my environment because it frightened her. So that is where I am now, chan- channeling. And so I think going forth, I'm still thinking about it. I might, I might, if I get the push, I might do live just because it's a good. Uh, well, let's just cut everything out. Just because it's in my blood. So my siblings, they were happy when I stopped doing it, and then when I start again, they asked me why. I told them it's in my blood. But there is a lot of difference. Before I would say, oh, I am doing it for the collective. But now I say I am doing it for me because I want to, because it's in my blood. So I'll just put it at that. Anyway, so half an hour, I think that is pretty good for jumping on and talking. So let me see. Yeah. So Rachel, is there anything, two of you here? Is there anything you like to ask? I appreciate you and your lives. You know, I recently it came to me that I do the life pretty naturally. I never really have any problem even from the beginning about talking to the camera. And I thought, well, and I find now that I do enjoy connecting with you, Rachel, and others. I have a small group of subscribers who have been with me from the beginning, from way back when I had the other channel. And I do enjoy connecting, with the small group, small channel. But chiefly because I started thinking service to others. I live like a hermit with my two dogs. How do I be of service to others? And so when the life was suggested to me, my first reaction was, oh no, I don't want to go back to that. It was very stressful. As most of YouTubers know, having a YouTube channel is not easy. I have gone through it, and now I understand it a bit more, so I control it to where I don't let it get to me. Because you work so hard, and then all of a sudden it goes up, and you say, "Oh, great, it's going to catch," and then no, it stays up, and then it plateau and drop, and then it starts swing the whole time, which means you have to move with it, change with it, reinvent. And I am not very good at reinventing. So it can become stressful. So when I left it 10 months ago, my initial reaction was one of relief. I never realized that it was so that, it was so stressful until I stopped doing it. And then, so I used that 10 months to train myself to appreciate being in some form of obscurity, because our nature, we want things to happen, especially as a YouTuber. You keep wanting things to happen. more subscribers, more views, and there is an endless pursuit. So I moved away from all that. And now, so I wasn't going to do any live. I wanted to be just like those channel of spirituality and mysticism where very often you do not even know if it's a real person. But I found out that it's very hard that way because I do want to succeed. I do want to get views. I don't mind if I have few subscribers as long as I get views. But when the views are in single digits, then I have to start thinking that, I have to do something. And I believe coming on this way is brings life to my channel. And I think that's the most important thing. Brings life to the channel. So I will just end it here. Yeah, and thank you, Rachel, for being here. And thank you, those others who watch it later. And this time, I promise I won't delete it by mistake. The last live, what happened was I came on the channel to test the volume. I didn't want it to be too loud. And when later in the day, I am absolutely sure I delete the test run, but instead the last live got deleted instead. The last live got deleted. So this Friday, 1 p.m. EST, we will have the energy healing and meditation again. So I'll see you then. Bye.